5 o'clock here on 95.7 The Game, and it's the interview we've been waiting for all day, all week. Oh, man, all year, considering you can only hope you might get something as special as 49ers Cowboys in the playoffs. And you can only hope that you have Michael Irvin, the Hall of Famer, the playmaker, as a weekly guest on your show should something like that happen. And believe it or not, it's happened now 2 years in a row. Michael Irvin joins us on the Bud Light guest line. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Michael, thank you for joining us as always. It feels like about a year ago we talked about this same game, and you doubted the Cowboys going into that game. Your doubts were proven right. What is your level of confidence in the Cowboys this time around?
It certainly is not tantamount to the level I had going into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. So when we said we were going to do first take in Tampa, I was like, yeah, let's go. We're going to win this game. I understand. I can run my mouth as much as I want. I know we're going to win this game. I said 30 points a game, and that's what Dallas was averaging with that. Beat 15 points a game. That's what Tampa was averaging. I don't care what language it is. I don't care in any and every language I know, and I'm sure all the languages I don't know. 30 beats 15. Even in brotherology, 30 beats 15. And brotherology language don't always make sense, but this time it does.
We've been asking everybody all week, what is your favorite, Cowboys, Niners playoff memory? And obviously this answer has an awful lot to do with where you grew up and who you rooted for and who your dad might have rooted for.
Right.
And you are the first guest all week where we can actually ask, you played for the Dallas Cowboys. Did you carry a hatred in your heart for the 49ers in your playing days? Because we talk to you every week now, and it's obvious you don't hate a single NFL team. You love covering the league. You love football. You love football players. But did you have a hatred in your heart for the 49ers?
I had a strong competitive battling in my heart for everybody. I'm telling you something. Listen, man, I told people, like, when I retired, I finally got a chance to go see San Francisco, to go see Washington, to go see Philadelphia. I had been to all of those cities, and I never went anywhere. I've never gone even out to dinner in any of those cities as long as I was playing. I didn't want to go and mix and mingle with nobody. I wanted to just build up a disdain for the person I was playing and the team I was playing against. So I never left the room, never went and met anybody, didn't want to start liking anybody. I had a strong competitive battle. Hate is such a strong word. But a competitive battling with someone that I think is as strong as you can get without saying hate, because I knew I was going to have great battles, and these battles are great. My favorite moment between these two dogs, listen, it goes back to Dwight Clark in the catch and watching that. My dad was a big Cowboy fan, so we watched that, and I was like, oh, my God, where did he come from? That ball was going out of bounds. That was a throwaway. All the things that everybody said, I was saying it. I was right there. And then later on, to be sitting in the locker room playing for the Dallas Cowboys, coming back in the Candlestick, coming back into San Francisco to play, and saying, I guarantee you, we would give anything we have to win this game. That 92, I put me in the locker room. We were actually dapping each other up, saying, prepare to die. We're prepared to die. We're not losing this damn game. We'll lay down out here and die, all of us, before we lose that game. I'll never forget that locker room before that game. That was a locker room that, we were ready to go play.
Monday night was the first time Dallas has won a road playoff game since you played.
Since that game I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Since that first game, right.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Is that a hurdle that they needed to get over? Is it something that doesn't really matter to players? And to that extent, is being on the road going to matter that much Sunday?
But that mattered. That mattered this time. Because anytime you have something that's standing in the way from you being, and people keep bringing it up, you hadn't done this in 30 years. You haven't done that in 25 years. Even though a lot of those kids weren't even born. It still matters because that means it's been carried on. They carried it on in there during their watch right now. Forget all other times it didn't happen, but right now on my watch, it's happening. So, yeah, you hear that stuff, and yes, it matters. And when you climb over that hump, especially when that hump has a Tom Brady statue right on top of it, a GOAT statue, yeah, that matters too. If you know, Jerry was trying to talk about, Jerry was telling people about some of the conversations we had, and I was likening this game, winning on the road, winning against Tom, to how hunting animals, how they train hunting dogs, you know, and when they smear the nose of a dog in the blood of the animal that they are hunting, it's called first blood. They get such a thirst for it, such a taste for it, that they'll do anything to hunt like that. Hopefully for the Dallas Cowboys, they got a taste of first blood, beating Tom Brady in that situation, and they'll do anything to hunt and win like that.
Michael Irvin here on 95.7 The Game. So the 49ers are getting the taste of Seahawks out of their mouth. They're picking their back teeth. They got the bird out. And now here indeed comes the Cowboys. And I think the 49ers and Cowboys would have been billed as one of the best offenses in football against one of the best defenses in football. Now I think it's one of the best offenses and defenses in football against one of the best offenses and defenses in football. All of a sudden, the 49ers offense has caught up to how effective the 49ers defense has been. And I would say the same thing in Dallas as well. This looks like a really fair fight to me going into this game. It's been hard to handicap. So let me just ask you straight up. What, Michael, do you like most about this matchup for the Cowboys, and what do you like the least?
I like this matchup the least out of all the matchups the Cowboys could have fallen up upon. I would rather have this in the NFC Championship game. If you have to do it on that stage as opposed to doing it any time before. But that being said, and I'll tell you why, it's because the San Francisco 49ers, they have all the kryptonite for the Dallas Cowboys. They can run the football very well. You know what I mean? That's one of the issues Dallas has is being able to stop a great running game, and they can certainly run the football very well. And another thing Dallas has speed, and Kyle Shanahan uses Dallas' speed as to their detriment with all the misdirections and everything. I'm really worried about Michael Parsons because I'm sure they're going to throw him so much eye candy that it'd be hard for him to just be focused and play direct football. Those are my big concerns, man. You've seen it. I've seen it when they played the Rams, when they play teams like the 49ers. It's so much misdirection that sometimes the speed that's a great asset becomes one of your liabilities. So you got to be disciplined, very, very disciplined. That's why they sing you all of those motions.
If Parsons does get distracted by the eye candy, who's the Cowboy on defense that is going to be most reliable and be able to pick up at least some of that slack?
And I'm still here. We hadn't had, I didn't hear what you said, or we dropped that's just what I'm saying. There was no name came straight to my tongue for me to say it right then, if you know what I mean. I can go deep into it and start looking into it. It's unlike San Francisco. You know, you guys got Warren. You got so many talented Green lost so many talented players on that defense, and talented early picks in the draft. We got guys that have been hard-earned guys that work hard and trying to earn it, but I don't think they have the physical talent that San Fran has, certainly, on their defense.
Hall of Famer Michael Irvin here on Damon and Ratto. Is C.D. Lamb the Cowboys' best wide receiver since with all due respect to Des Bryant's peak of about a 3-4 year run that was outstanding? C.D. Lamb looks to be the real McCoy to me. How good is he?
C.D., man, I'm telling you, he's a talented wide receiver. And it's hard to say, like, is he the best Cowboys had since me? I mean, we just haven't seen enough yet, but he is so great for this time of the football, for this time in the NFL. I said he's the most talented 88. The most talented 88. because I couldn't play inside. Ed didn't really play inside, and Drew, I don't even know if they were playing inside, and Drew was playing, but you know what I'm saying. C.D. Lamb to play inside. He was the top slot guy this year in the NFL. So, you know what I mean? He go inside, he can play outside. That means he's a very talented guy. It's that now also, though, those other 88s you're talking about, they were like, hey, what's that quote, Ric Flair? I spent more money on spilled liquor across this country. I'm a diamond Rolex wearing, private plane fly. Those old 88s had a whole lot of flair. Heads with the X in them out, whole lot of flair. CD doesn't have as much flair, but boy, I see he has the most talent as all of them.
I love any Ric Flair quotes you can work into an interview, that's for sure. Michael, when in your mind did Pollard pass Zeke as the best option to do damage out of the Cowboys' backfield?
Well, that hadn't happened in my mind. Because I've always been consistent with this, man. I've told you guys this, and it's one of my number one things when I'm talking about building a team. Physicalness. I love that we have Pollard, and he can hit a home run, but he is the lightning. I need the thunder. The thunder moves the whole world. Everybody feels the thunder. Everybody don't feel the lightning. The lightning hit way over there. Everybody. When you hit somebody in the mouth like Zeke does, even if the person that didn't get hit, it's not just the person that got hit, it's the corner way on the other side. God damn it. He ran in them hard. Now he's thinking about, do I really want to tackle this joker when he comes around this corner? You see what I'm saying? That physicalness, you can't substitute that for it on the football. It's important. So in my mind, I still want that physicalness. This is why I'm so afraid of San Francisco, because of that physicalness. Not because nobody's speed, nobody can run. I can deal with speed and running. It's that physicalness that breaks a man's will. And that we don't want to ever give up. And that's why San Fran is where they are, because they don't give it up.
How then, if you're not the more physical team, how do you win a game where you have to finesse teams? And how often does that happen in the playoffs?
Well, and here's what you're talking about. How do you try to get ahead on San Fran? Well, I've been running around. Let me tell you what I'd liken this to as an analogy. I took this thing back to Rocky IV, one of the best Rockies out there. And he was fighting Drago, a perfect Drago, a perfectly well-oiled machine, just like San Francisco. Went all the way to Russia to fight him, just like Dallas got to go to San Francisco. And he was hitting, and they were punching, and they were fighting. And then once Rocco, you hit him, you cut him. He breathes. He's human. Not going to finish him. Dallas got to find a way to cut him, to make sure they know, not just Dallas, but also San Francisco know that you bleed and you're human, and then try to beat them. They got to cut them by attacking their strength. You got to be able to run the football, even though nobody runs in San Francisco. And then you come back and give them a lot of small cuts by spreading the ball around. Don't give them one focal point, or like C.D. Lamb, the T.Y. Hills have to make plays. The Noah Brown and Michael Gallup have to make plays because they're so good. Somebody has to be open right away to kind of nullify that pass rush. It's going to be a hell of a night, and Dallas has to be at their best, at their tip-top best. The kind of performance they had in Minnesota, have a chance at winning this football game, just a chance.
I mean, you're checking all the boxes here. You're quoting Ric Flair. You're quoting Rocky IV. If you need another part-time job in your life, do you know how good of a corner man you would make? You would make an excellent corner man. You'd make a great corner. He's not a machine. You'd make a great corner man.
Dude, that was a great Rocky, though.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's so apropos here because the way San Fran looked, and especially last week, it looked like a machine. It looked like, oh, my God, nobody's going to beat this team. They look like a machine, man. And I don't care what anybody says. So we asked the other day, they said, well, look, what makes what makes their running game so great. And everybody, having Christian McCaffrey is, man, it's been such a perfect fit up there, and I told you guys about that. But having Debo in that physicalness, Debo is physical, man. It sets a whole different tone, man. It's just a whole different tone. And that made this thing perfection. That's why they got to go in there and they got to cut him so they can see he's not a machine. They are not a machine. You can beat them.
What do you think, Michael, of Brock Purdy's performance on Saturday morning? I think he surprised a lot of people, not only how comfortable he settled into that game after he was off to a little bit of a I don't even want to call it a nervous start, but he was letting some balls float on him a little bit, but then he settled right in. And he's got wiggle on him, man. He can move around the pocket.
I told y'all, man. I told you the vibe I got when that man walked out there. It was the vibe that it was exactly what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Everybody, and I've been trying to talk to you like, stop, people. All right, it's time to stop. Time to stop. I love him more than anybody else, and y'all know this. Y'all know I got a real man crush on Kyle Shanahan. I think he's the best coach out there right now, and you know that. And we all been talking about, man, Kyle Shanahan calling great play, and he has. And the defense got a great play, and they have. And he got a great running game, and they do. But don't take away from what Purdy has been doing. Purdy has been looking pretty back there. And I'm talking about some of those, he ain't just dropping back and dumping the ball off here, dumping the ball off there. It ain't Sean McVay in his ear saying, go to the running back, go to the wide receiver, go to what. You see this dude making plays. This dude jumped one way, jumped the other, threw that ball, and got smacked in the mouth. But he delivered that ball perfectly, and Ayuk should have caught it. It would have been a phenomenal touchdown. And it hit Ayuk right in the hand. That ain't Shanahan. That ain't no defense. That ain't no receiver. That's Purdy looking pretty. That's Purdy looking pretty. Y'all can stop messing around and give a man his credit.
Speaking of quarterbacks and credit, just to veer away from the 49ers for a second, Tom Brady threw the ball 66 times against you guys the other night. And there were a lot of people thinking that this might be a sign that he's coming to the end. Did you see any of that in his play? And if not, where do you think he ends up next year?
So I think Tom Brady still has football left in him. You better believe it. And for Tom Brady to be 8-9, for to finish his team, the season, the way he finished the season, I don't know personally. Because I've never experienced it before. I've never gone through it. And I ain't saying that to boast in any level. At any level, God knows I did everything I should have experienced one. I should have experienced, but I did. But the guys that I do know that have, they tell me the toll it takes on you. It's a ripping. It's a ripping on your life. For Tom to even have the season he had, to get those guys to a playoff in the midst of a ripping, I thought that was incredible. Do I think if he goes and finds a better situation or in another situation, can he still perform? Yes. They force Tom to do what he does worse, and that's play outside in. I always tell you, he plays inside out. And when Godwin came back slowly on their leg, and Gronk retired, he didn't have that force on the inside. You send him to a place that has that force on the inside, where he can play early football. I can take out the defensive line if I can play early football with that force multiplier in the inside, like a Chris Godwin when he's healthy, or Wes Welker, or my man Julian Edelman. When you give him one of those guys, and they don't play with that guy, and then go outside with a Mike Evans, he can hurt you. He just had all of his kryptonite happen at one time. The voice, that's a kryptonite for anybody, not just Superman. But then you come back, the interior of your offensive line get hurt, and then your middle guys, the Godwins, the Grunts is gone. All of that, that's what they call a tsunami, all happening at one time. Tom can still play football in the right place.
Michael Irvin with us here on Damon and Ratto. So we saw you on Monday night in the owner's box with Jerry Jones. As soon as the game went final, the two of you guys are hugging. Obviously had a great time. The two of you get along. Who is the more nervous watcher of the Cowboys, you or Jerry Jones?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm so invested, like it's my $10 billion investment, but it ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? It ain't mine. Jerry's Jerry's a competitor, guys. He's a competitor, you know, and he's such a deep down believer. When we first bought the team, that's one thing he said, man, I just believe the Dallas Cowboys and that brand. It's the biggest brand in the world. It's the greatest brand in the world. It should be on every lip, every minute of every day. And basically, he grew it that way. We talk about the Cowboys, talk about that brand as much as I don't know what. I catch myself sometimes working on TV saying, man, I'm tired of hearing myself talk about this. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he's done because he believed it. Yeah, he watches it hard. He takes it hard when they lose. I know how hard I take it. I would probably say he takes it even a little bit harder, you know what I mean, even than me.
So who made the most noise or swore the loudest or sighed the loudest when Brett Maher missed his fourth straight point after touchdown?
Well, I'm sure I did that. I'm sure I did. Let me tell you, because I was, you know, games like that, I also do box appearances. That means I go from box to box, spend a quarter over here, quarter over there, and 1 quarter over there.
He works the room.
And, you know, box appearances. So I'm moving from box to box after you miss one of them. And I'm in the elevator. So I got my security ushering me from one box to the other to watch the game with the next group of people. And I'm in the elevator. And I forgot. I'm just in an all-out, real breakdown. This mother, dude, I know something. Bro, I'm going to go right on that field and whoop his dude. I'm going off. And I look up, and 2 or 3 people on the elevator got the camera phone. Oh, I said, hey, man, listen, man, y'all can't post that. Y'all can't post that, man. I don't want that kid family hearing me talk about it like that. Don't post that like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh, my God. Oh, God, man, this argument like we won't do it. But yeah, man, I got rattled. You got Tom Brady on the other sideline. That's Tom freaking Brady. Let's freaking go. You can't be missing no field goal, no extra point. Or at that. It was insane. If you go anywhere near that, you have no chance in San Francisco.
Michael Irvin here on 95.7 The Game. As we've been saying all week, this game is special. It's part of the crown jewel of a lot of people's playoff memories. 49ers and Cowboys means a lot. There are very few straight line players, one team to another, but obviously there is some crossover there. And I just want to take you back. It's the 1994 NFC Championship game, and the Niners win it. After that season, Deion Sanders goes from San Francisco to Dallas to play with you guys. Can you take us through that? Did you call him? Does Troy call him? Does Jerry call him? Did the two of you start going at each other in training camp right away before you became friends? Like, take us through the Deion leaving the Niners, joining the Cowboys saga.
Well, yeah, I was a recruiter in that case. I was a recruiter. And you know, my deal was up. We were doing a deal. Jerry was just saying, I just want to give you full disclosure here. You know, we had an opportunity to bring in Deion, you know, and I want to tell you about it and make sure it's okay. And I just asked, what? Yeah, are you joking? I said, you know, we talked to this people. I said, man, you got my full blessings on this, my full blessings. So absolutely, we just start working towards that. I said, I'm going to work on the back end now that I know it's a possibility. So I started calling Deion and talking, you know. Deion was saying, okay, man, well, Michael, what is it like? Tell me, what do you mean? And my exact quote to him, I said, San Francisco, man. I said, it's great. I said, but to get an understanding with Dallas, they say if you had to multiply by 10, and you just start scratching the surface. I said, come on in and take a visit and let me show you. He said, all right, let me set it up. Let me set up. He said, I will call you back when I come through. I said, call Mike so I can set it all up. And, boy, I put on the party that night. And, boy, we set that club up. Boy, we had no club. Everybody was over there. Come welcome Deion. Come help us woo him across the water. And, I mean, everybody came out, and we had a blast. I mean, a blast. It was, yeah. That's about all I get here. We had a blast.
Yeah, I bet it.
And soon after that, it was like getting one of them kids that you were recruiting, right? You didn't want to let them out the room. I had all my recruiting helpers right there. I said, man, you ready? I say right now, you said, Mike, stop playing, man. That's I ain't want to let him out the room. I love him so much. He and I, we're best of friends. It's so funny though. A lot of the dudes, man, that I played against, now that I'm retired, they're my best friends. Gerald Green, Aeneas Williams, Deion Sanders. I see these dudes. I talk to these dudes all the time, man. So I was happy to play with Deion, man. We had such a great time playing together, man. And such a great few years together. I wish we could have gotten more.
It truly is a brotherhood in the NFL, and I would have loved to have been at that party. I'm guessing it was a whole rosary party, meaning the next day you had to do the whole rosary to get through forgiveness.
Right. When you go to church, hey, let me tell you, some people always say, man, them people in church, they think they perfect. No. I ain't got to say because they're perfect. The difference between me and the person ain't in church. I'm a sinner. I know you're a sinner, but at least on Sundays, I'm trying to get to the doctor and get healed a little bit. Get me some healing. You just don't sit up in this sin. I ain't gonna come and take your Tylenol. I ain't gonna come and get no castor oil. I'm trying to come in here and get some of this to help clean some of that stuff.
Michael, you're a treasure, man. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. And we were looking forward to today, and you certainly delivered as always. Thank you so much.
Yeah, baby, I'm looking forward to it, man. I like to say I'm in a win-win because I'm such a big 49er fan because we get to talk. You guys know how much I love Debo and everybody, man, on this squad, man. Those are my boys. Boy, but I sure would love to let the Cowboys. Y'all had a Super Bowl just a few years ago. Just 30 years ago. I'm so sick of hearing everybody say you ain't been nowhere in 30 years. Hopefully we can change that.
Michael Irvin. Thank you so much, Michael, here on 95.7 The Game, a weekly guest, and there's never been a better week to have him. I mean, 49ers and Cowboys. What more do you want? That conversation was fantastic.